Welcome back, my fellow game developers, to a brand new video, a brand new section, and one of the better sections. I will introduce you to the boss, Skelly Boss. I'm not going to waste your time too much. First of all, we will talk about the state machine, what it is, how it is, why we are using it, how we are going to be using it using the animator, all of that good stuff. And in the second part of the video, we will be talking about the animations that I've created just to guide you through the process. If you have created the animations, because in the middle we will have a challenge. If you already did all of the animations, you can skip the second part, or if you think that you need a bit of help, I just guide you through a little bit of what I did. So with that out of the way, let's not waste any more time and let's get started with the boss fight. Okay, so welcome to one of the most exciting parts of this entire project, and that is the boss battle. What game is complete without a boss battle? No game. So let's go ahead and think of how we're going to create a boss battle. First of all, let's talk about something called the state machine. If we look here in the animator, you'll notice, and let's take the Doom player for example, you'll notice that these are in fact animations, but they also work as states. So we have the states, the state of the player idling. So player idling, he's in a state, he can do specific things, he cannot move, for example, he can shoot, he can do a lot of stuff, but he is in a state of idling. Then we have the walking state, and then we have the player dashing. So for example, when we are dashing, we have certain animations, but we also cannot move. We cannot shoot with our guns or weapons. So that is a sign of a different state where we have different mechanics and different behaviors. So we are going to use the animator to produce these kinds of states. And I was the whole time calling these animations, but a lot of people like to call them states, and that is okay. You can call them whatever you want as long as it properly describes what is happening. So let's talk more about states and what a state machine is. So a state machine is a behavior model. It consists of a finite number of states. So behavior model, just like we have the idling, just like we have the the running and the dashing, these are behavior models and they are finite. So we always need to know how many states we have. And a given input, the machine performs state transition and produces outputs. So just like we have the transitions between the animations in the animator, so does a state machine have transitions. So that's why the animator is the perfect, tool to create this state machine. So let's talk about what we have in our states. First of all, we have the starting state. So we have the starting state, we transition into another state, which is the A. Whatever it is, maybe we start by idling, then we transition to walking, then we can transition between, for example, and this is all an example, between two states, B and C. And for example, when we go from state A to state C, we cannot go back to state A, but from state C we can go to state B, go to state A, and then go back and forth between A and B. So this is just an example of what a state could be. And obviously on each and every transition we have conditions. So certain conditions have to be met in order to transition from one state to another, and this is something that we've been doing all the time in this course. So I'm just going to continue on. Let's talk about the boss state machine that we are going to have. So the first state will be the appearing. So the boss, as soon as we enter the boss room, the boss will start appearing from the ground, and you'll see the boss sprites in just a bit. I provided you with them in the resources. Then we start walking. So as soon as the boss comes to life, then he will start walking towards the player. So no time to lose, no idling, no nothing. The boss just starts walking towards the player. Then we have the fire shots. So we will give the ability to our a huge skeleton boss that you'll see in just a bit to fire certain shots at us. So just like we had the enemy bullets, just like we had the player bullets, we will also have the boss bullets that will be fired from many directions. then we will have the melee attack. So just as I promised you, we are going to create a melee attack for our boss that will attack the player once he is near him. So we will have some kind of timer, and obviously we want to have the transition go both ways. So for example, we don't want to appear, walk, and then appear again. So that's it. Once we appear, we never go back to the state. Under a certain condition, we start walking. Under a certain condition, we start firing shots, and then we start walking again. And under certain conditions, we also start melee attacking, and under certain conditions, we go back to walking. But then there is the second part of the fight, and that is when our enemy gets angry or our boss gets angry. When we shoot him enough that his health goes down, he then starts walking angry, he starts firing shots angry, he starts angrily melee attacking us, he will change colors, he will change sizes, and finally, when we kill him, if we manage to do so, we have the state of dying where he cannot hurt us anymore, he disappears, and we win. So, I'm going to if you want, you can pause the video, look at this, take this in. We are going to be doing all of these in our upcoming videos, but I'm going to give you also a challenge to create all the animations and think. So create the animations that we'll have for the boss, and let me just show you the resources. We have the appear, the attack, the die, the idle, the walk. And if you're not sure what the angry will be, I'll show you briefly after I finish all the animations. I won't be doing them live because honestly it will take a lot of time, it will take a lot of effort. I will just create a new scene, put the boss there, and create the couple of animations. Then you'll need to create the appear, attack, walk, shoot, getting angry, angry attack, angry shoot, angry walk. And now if you're not sure how to create the angry, just at least the angry walk, for example, is the same as the angry shoot. The angry walk is just the same as the regular walk, but what I'll do is I'll increase the scale of the enemy, of the boss, and I'll also make him a bit of a red color so he looks different. The angry attack is just the same as the attack. And finally, we want to set the angry state will just have the boss as red color, a bit bigger in scale and a bit faster animations also. So with that out of the way, pause the video right now, and I don't know, maybe I'll show you in the next video the animations, maybe I'll show you in this one the animations, just so you can see everything, we can set up everything, and I'll see you in the next one, maybe not. Hey, welcome back. So how did you get on with that? I just wanted to show you a couple of things, or the way I created my states and how I made the angry walking and angry shooting and angry attack, and how I did the getting angry. Maybe you can be inspired. I also fixed a couple of things. If you did the attack, you might have noticed that the sprite moves to the right, which is not very nice. So I also fixed that. So let me show you what I did. First of all, I got all of my sprites in here, the die, idle, attack, the idle we don't use. So you can see the walking, all of them were kept almost the same. I just changed the filter and made the pixels per unit 75. What did I do? The Skelly boss. So let me show you what I did in here. So let's say we are in the appearing. Let me show you the appear. Very simple, very normal. Just there you go. You can see that we have the skeleton appearing. You can see I've added 2 box colliders. One of them is a trigger. So we can walk, as you know, where we walk through the walls. Let me see. Okay, so the one on the bottom, the one at the top, which is this one. There you go. I can turn it off and on. And you can see that's the one that we're going to make a trigger. That's just so we can hit the enemy, but at the same time the enemy can stand behind the background right here. So there we go, we have the appearing, as you can see, and the structure here in the animator. I didn't create the transitions yet because I want to make them as we create the code. I didn't want to do them without you knowing, because at some point we will have exit time, we will have transition time, and all of these good things. So as you can see, we start with appearing just like we did in the slides, then walking, and between the walking and the shooting, then we get angry, then the angry walking, angry attack, and angry shooting. So the, where is it? The walking. There we go, very simple, we just walk around. Then we have the attack. So as you can see, maybe in your case, and even in mine still, you can see that the boss just moves a little bit, so to the upwards and to the right. So notice, there we go, you can see that he moved just a little bit. But that's even though we changed a bit in the sprites. If you kept them the same, you'll notice that yours moves a lot. So to fix this, I've made sure to go into the sprite editor. And in here, I changed the custom pivot. So this is the point where, let's call it the center. It's a pivot actually, but there is a slight difference between pivot and center. But this is the center right now. When the center was right here, because the whole image was moved to the right, that's why the entire enemy moves to the right. So what I did is I changed this center right here, created a custom pivot, and it was 0.6554878. If you want to copy this number just like I did, or maybe you can find one that is better. Mine isn't perfect. As you can see, he moves a little bit to the right. So you can find your own value, and you can see that you don't have to go and edit all the sprites. You just can select all of them. And in here, you can select the custom pivot on the bottom and then write down this number, keep it at 0.5. This is on the Y, on the X, change it to 6554878. Okay, and what else did we do? So this is the attack, and you can see that I leave a little bit of room when he is striking. So we will have an attack on this side, and once the sword is up, we wait a little bit just to give room to our player to maybe run away, and then we swing back down. And when we are going to be creating our melee attack, you'll see how this is crucial, because we will add event systems that will damage the player only when the sword is at a certain position. We don't want to damage the player when the sword is up, because obviously the skeleton isn't swinging, so we'll just damage him when the sword is right here, and we'll create some kind of circular collider right here, and if the player is inside, then he gets damaged. That's how we will create the melee attack. So what else do we have? Oh, so the shooting. So I've got this one from the Dying Sprites, I believe. Yes, there we go. So it's from the Dying Sprites, and it's not the smartest thing in the world. I just need some particular sprite. And as you can see, when we are shooting, we just change the scale increases and then goes back down. You can see it right here. So 1, I set the record button and then made them bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller. And this is when we will be shooting. We will add, just like we did with the regular enemies, we will add points of shooting. So we will add 4. And then when he is angry, we will add 6. And talking about angry, let's see how we get angry. So there we go, you can see this is how we get angry. We first of all, we become bigger. So we have the smaller, bigger, smaller, bigger. And I also added the idle sprites in here. You don't have to, I didn't notice much change. If we delete all the idle sprites, nothing changes honestly, but I just wanted to have something different than just a stale image. This adds maybe just a little subtle movement to the player, to the enemy, I mean, to the boss, to Skelly. You can see that he gets bigger, smaller, and his hand twitches just a little bit, enough to just have a little bit of life in him, growing bigger, smaller, and then you can see he becomes big, where we have the scale at 1.3 on the X and on the Y. Obviously on the Z we don't need it, and then we just wait a couple of seconds for the player to realize what just happened. And then finally we start walking angry. So where's the walking angry or angry walking? It's the exact same as the regular walking, but it's a bit faster. And on the first frame, I made sure to set the scale at 1.3. So in the animation, I hit the record. I changed the color to complete red. Oh, and by the way, in here, where is the getting angry? So the get angry, you'll notice that he becomes slowly redder. And on here, this is where I set it to red, and it slowly moves. You can see the color right here. It slowly moves to red. And on the angry walking, we just set it to red at the beginning, increase the scale to 1.3 on all sides, and we make the walking a little bit faster. This is what will happen when he gets angry. He will start walking faster, so the animations will be faster. We have the angry shooting, so exactly the same. The color just changes. It's completely red because at this point the whole enemy or boss is red. And finally, the angry attack. It's exactly the same, just with a bigger scale, a different color, and much faster movement. So you can see there is no waiting time when the sword is up. He just keeps chopping away all the time, and we will create the same thing. We will have in here the damage. At this position we will have the damage, and at this position we will also have the damage. Okay, so with that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you created all of your animations. You took that time to do them. Let's stage all of our... Whoa, that's nice. Anyways, for some reason I have an error. I will fix it later on, but for now, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video where we will be actually moving our enemy and destroying things. So, see you then.